This is what just happened. Apparently, yeah.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war in
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I answer?
No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks in this cabinet, and not only in this cabinet.
We gave you, through the stupid president, $350 billion. We gave you military equipment, and you never bring.
This is so fucking lame. It's so great, though. It's so lame, and it's such like. Here's the issue: all the senators, with the exception of like 2 on the Republican side, want to support Ukraine and all this, and they're not backing them up behind closed doors. So this is overflowing into the public because both Vance and Trump don't answer to those folks. They answer to either Putin or to, Peter Thiel or whoever their Musk or their fixation about this or their ignorance about it themselves. And so they all are having, that's why this is blowing up. Because if you had a point of strength, you wouldn't feel the need to have this kind of shouting match. You just wouldn't.
If Zelenskyy or if Ukraine was losing, then why is Russia wanting peace?
Yeah, right.
If Russia was winning, they'd just win. They'd go take the whole place.
Let's hear that.
They're not.
Yeah, I want to hear the rest of this little piece.
If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
maybe less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Again, just say thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good for the American people to see what a dipshit you are and how whingy that Vance is basically taking the lead and pick this fight. I think that's the other telling point is that, we've been talking a lot about how Vance is sidelined in all this, and he's, but, because we're so focused on the sort of the puppet presidency of Musk running things, that's in one area. On the other area, Vance is actually the one pulling the strings because he's the one that has access to Peter Thiel's money, and that's why they brought him on in the first place. So Trump is the odd man out in this situation. He's trying to wrestle back sort of control in this circumstance by just falling back, I guess, to campaign rhetoric that he said about, we've been stupid country and Biden's stupid and all that shit.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop falling.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
Trump thinks he has leverage. He has no leverage.
None. That's exactly it.
He has zero leverage.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And again,
He's literally trying to create fake leverage.
Yeah, I guess through social pressure. So everybody's there. By the way, Russian state media is in the room as well. RT and that crowd are there, which is another big stink that happened because of this. Let me hear the tail end of this, and we'll get to it.
Because you get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to
Jesus Christ.
In this case, the cards are the weapons,
right?
But he's saying peace because we're not going to. So no matter what, they don't get the weapons,
right?
So like, what's the leverage? Like,
well,
either
here's
we
okay.
give up or we deal
the thing.
with like
yeah.
other people.
The issue that they have is that if the Ukrainians just take a ceasefire blindly from without the Russia making any concessions, Zelensky's out and their government basically falls, and they'll be overrun, and Russia will attack, within months of this happening, and Trump will do nothing about it. In 6 months, if you want to talk about leverage, this ceasefire dictated by Donald Trump and JD Vance would take away any leverage they have, period, because effectively Russia says no to peacekeepers and no to anybody being there, right, to of any sort, protecting them, whether it's U.S. troops or British or French, and the Russians saying no to that just guarantees it'll be easy pickings next time, and they know that if Trump won't marshal NATO to protect them, or he'd buy those rare earth minerals from Russia, whoever owns the land, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the principle of it. He doesn't care about the people themselves. Then they give up all their leverage if they do a ceasefire. All of it. It's all gone.
Right.
It's just it's goofy.
The whole thing is goofy and
such a dipshit.
It's to say that, I mean, Europe is stepping up. They're starting to, and they're going to do more.
Yep.
Trump just doesn't understand his own leverage in this situation at all.
Nope.
And so they literally, all they have to do is say no.
Yeah.
And the U.S. can't invade Ukraine.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So the worst they can do is not send any more armament.
Well, and also they can say he even said, you need a ceasefire, and he's like, yeah, but what does that mean? And he's like,
right.
He tried to divert it. What that means is, yeah, we'll take a ceasefire, but it's got to have, controls and provisions that we don't get attacked again and all that other stuff. If you're just going to say stop shooting so Russia can reload, you're out of your fucking mind.
And Russia's already saying we'll do a ceasefire if you give us more than we already have.
Right. Give us more land.
Position.
Right.
Yeah, that's their current position.
More land than we took. Eat shit. It's so dumb. And again, that's why they're yelling. That's why and I think they want to shame him in front of the public so that Fox News will run with a clip of this. But I gotta say, it's just fucking embarrassing. I know Fox will, Jesse Waters will clean up this thing and create chunks of it that make JD Vance look like a man and look like Trump's being his, tough negotiator self. But the reality is that it's not going to go anywhere, and they know it. Fox knows it. The Republicans, I mean, there's a reason why Dan Crenshaw's, on a hot mic saying that if he met Tucker Carlson, he'd kill him, because they've all fucking had it. They've had it with this obvious placating of Russia for no good reason, and they're not getting the support. The reason they're upset is they're not getting the support from the Republicans that they need, or even the electorate. They're the ones out on a limb, or you wouldn't be yelling about this shit. I mean, granted, Trump has a short fuse and he's stupid and weak, and you can't challenge him in public. And look at how he reacted to the fucking governor of Maine, and he became a penchant, little prick in that. And it shows tremendous weakness on his part because he tries to be strong, and it's so obvious and on the nose. But in and of itself, this, you're right. They have no leverage. The Trump has no leverage over Zelenskyy because what he's asking is he's asking for surrender.
Right. Exactly.
The one thing they can't
surrender.
give. They cannot give that, and because it will mean the death of their people, it will mean the death of the destruction of their country. It's just dumb. It's and in the same way that we'll see how this plays out or whatever. But this will be inconsequential as an argument, because they're not going to have this bitch fest and then cut off aid, go, that's it, no more weapons, because the Senate has already allocated stuff going into this year.
There'll be all kinds of court stuff about it.
Yeah.
And
the javelins all over again.
People are just going to start saying, yeah, you're obviously for Russia. Want Russia to win.
Exactly.
Buddha and the Eagle asked, how do they plug the missile defense hole? They plug it through other countries.
Yeah.
Other countries can supply Patriot missiles to them that they already have them.
Yep.
And they're doing it. Like missiles are coming from all over the place. You just covered the German missile. They're sending 6,000 effectively like drone missiles to them.
Right.
And
the Biden administration, so last year, just so everybody knows, the Biden administration met with all of our allies and went, hey, in the case that this doesn't go our way and we lose the election because it's a touchy thing, there's going to be a trade-off of support. We know that Trump is going to side with Russia, and so we're going to give you everything we can during our presidency, right up to the last day we're in office. And that stuff, we'll get as much of it out the door as we possibly can, as much funding as we can, and all that stuff, because that's what we're here to do. If it doesn't go our way, you guys will have to pick up the ball and run to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to arrange for a bunch of missile systems and things like that to you guys, because that's under our allied setup that we can do already. And then you guys can transfer stuff that you no longer need to Ukraine. And so that'll allow you to kind of backfill the Pez dispenser of gear and from us, and then you can pass that stuff on, and it's still under NATO and it's under the normal structures of things, so that even the Republican senators don't have to fight back against it, because it's already, they're getting old NATO gear from you guys. It doesn't even look like we're involved when we absolutely are. And they knew this. They presented this, and that's why Trump is pissed. The other thing is the Starlink thing, and this goes to Musk's, the trust factor of that dickhead. Starlink itself is the only game in town for a lot of these things, but for as far as a single low Earth satellite system that rings the Earth that people can use, but it's by no means the only way to do these kind of communications. We've had direct TV satellite internet for a long time too. Europe has several different of these. It's just singular to that. It didn't go all the way around the world. It's just singular to Europe. Okay, and there's one over Ukraine as well. There are satellite systems over Ukraine. There have been for a long time that they can draw from. Just establishing these these outposts, the Starlink thing was a cheap and easy way to do this temporarily. But they recognize that Musk is fucking around. So he finds out on their backs, they've started shifting their communication systems away from Starlink because after he shut it down on the battlefield at one time, they're like, we don't trust this asshole. That's that. This year, 3 competitors to Starlink come online, including Amazon's Kuiper, which comes out this fall. Same kind of system. You'll be seeing it like it's going to take over Best Buy. It's going to muscle Starlink off the shelves in a bunch of places because Amazon has the money and the wherewithal to shove this into, stores itself, but also the availability on Amazon itself. And they have made distinct rules about this for whatever people think about Bezos and the Washington Post, and I agree, that their rule is unless the country is sanctioned directly by the United States, which requires an act of the Senate, that country can use Kuiper, meaning Ukraine. That's the whole point, that Kuiper will be available to Ukraine, and the only way they could stop it is for the U.S. government to sanction Ukraine specifically, which they are not going to do. That's not going to pass. And so, and even if they did, it would take a year after they already were using it to go in to implement it past that contract point, unless they showed a reason in international courts. And Europe could sue Amazon and say the United States government doesn't have a good right to do this, and the United States would have to defend it in court why they would cut off communications for a country they're not at war with or that has never attacked us. And so there's a lot of reasons why they're trapped in this box, and that's why Trump and Vance, because they're running out of runway.
Buddha and the Eagle said it's time. That's Trump's leverage, and it's actually not his leverage, because Russia's losing. So and Ukraine can wait them out. They've already waited 3 years. Yeah, and they're going to keep doing it. Like, you listen to Phil. Phil's there talking about it. They're not going to give up. No, it'll become an insurgency war. It'll become like a guerrilla war if they force this ceasefire in. That's what's going to happen. It will be a guerrilla war in those areas again. So the war is not going to stop. No. It's not going to stop. by making peace, so quote unquote peace, they have to leave, or they have to come up with something that's going to at least take away or give some of the land back. Like, the best possible they could do is go back to where they were before Russia invaded the first time. But I don't think that's going to happen. They're not going to give up Crimea. At any rate, as they get there, Russia's running out of time too, because their economy's for crap. And if Europe Russia can't do any more than they're already doing other than firing more missiles.
Right.
Ukraine can start firing missiles to Moscow.
Right.
And so there is an escalation that Ukraine can have. And Europe is there. Like, it's not a fait to complete that if Trump tweets something that Europe's going to say yes. Like, they're not.
As a matter of fact, the opposite is true.
The opposite is true. And here's the other thing is Trump's making a brand of reneging on deals. Yeah. So even if they made a deal, why wouldn't they just renege on it the next day?
Right.
Meaning Ukraine. So that's the funny thing that's not in the press. Like, so Trump signs a deal with Ukraine for rare earth minerals, right?
Right.
So Ukraine would say, let's get this stuff and then let's rip up the deal. Screw you. What is he going to do about it?
Yeah.
And then they'll just say, well, that's what Trump did. That's what Trump does.
Right. Well, and exactly. Your treaties don't mean anything. And by the way, they don't mean anything. One of the other reasons that he's very upset is because he just met with Macron and he just met with Keir Starmer, and both of them were like, "We're going to keep backing Ukraine no matter what you do." So, they've got no leverage against Zelenskyy in this meeting because the idea was they've been kind of counting on the fact, because of his rhetoric, that they were going to get cut off anyways. And they haven't been. The U.S. is still supplying stuff because Trump and them haven't done this, because if they do it, they no longer have any leverage in the circumstance. Because if we're not backing Ukraine, we have no leverage to bring Russia to the table either, because we can't control Ukraine through the limitations of those weapons. And if Trump just says, okay, we're done, you're not getting any more stuff from us, automatically, that shows that he's on Russia's side, and you can argue about whether or not MAGA will take that seriously, or the rest of the world will do it, or if Tucker Carlson will call him and give him head, and that'll be that. But the rest of the world that does support it will go, all right, well, we'll just do it, and this will be part of our NATO gathering, steam, and with the idea that if you're not giving them any weapons, and you're not going to guarantee their security, and you're not going to help get Russia out of their country, then why do they have to listen to you about joining NATO? We'll hold it a vote, and you can say no. You can be the one person that votes against it, right?
Who says that NATO doesn't kick the U.S. out?
Right, exactly.
I'm being serious.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're causing all this trouble, Europe. I mean, that's the part that, like, we keep thinking about these things as if they're
no one else has agency.
The way they've always been.
Right.
And that the world doesn't have agency, but it's the way, like, Trump is upending the way it's always been.
Right.
And we keep, like, living in the world of the way it's always been. Mm-hmm. If Trump's upending it, stop living there and start choosing directions that don't rely on Trump and the U.S. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it. Europe's not some, like, snowflake here.
Right.
I mean, they got plenty of missiles and airplanes.
They've been through some shit. Right. They've been through some shit. Right. And so Macron at his meeting said, to be frank, we've paid for 60% of the war effort so far. Right.
Right.
And Trump has this idea that we've dumped all this money into Ukraine, and therefore we deserve something back. And everybody's like, no. You gave arms to them on a Lend-Lease program, but you spent the money in the United States. That's the part that I think needs to be a bigger part of the conversation when the press talks about it, right? That in and of itself will shut that whole bullshit down in a weekend. If everybody just understands that we Lend-Leased gear to Ukraine, the vast majority of what they got was stuff that they either have to pay back later or they have to give back later if it still exists. And more than likely they pay back later, just like England did. I think they just paid it off, 2 years ago, their debt from World War II, right? And they have to give that stuff back or whatever. But the money that we allocated was spent in red states in the United States where this stuff is made, where the javelins are made, where the tanks are made, where the rounds are made, where the cannons are made, right? That's all done here. So we dumped a bunch of money into our own country. And then, like I said, like the Pez dispenser, we sent them the old stuff and kept the new stuff for our thing. It's this kind of conveyor belt of quality gear. Now, when it's an Abrams tank is an Abrams tank is an Abrams tank. And there might be some new, pieces, but you snap those in. You don't change the design of the thing overall. It has a piece of gear added to it, but it's not a redesign of the whole fucking thing. And we just when we send these tanks to other countries, we don't put that extra special piece that our troops would use in there. They don't get that extra stuff ever.
It might be like targeting technology.
Yes, exactly.
Geolocation tech. It's like the hardware, the computer hardware kind of sort of, or the armament, like the special armament that we have that
we want to keep secret,
deflect certain kinds of missiles. We
That's
don't
right.
We don't want that left on the battlefield so that Russia can get it and then learn from it.
Right, and we only give it to our troops specifically so that we have an edge in any circumstance, and that's for national security. That I totally get, and that's how it works. And so Starmer was saying that the vast majority of stuff that they've given was a gift to Ukraine. They are not expecting to get paid back. They aren't expecting to keep it, or get repaid rather. They're just letting Ukraine keep it. And Trump, in that situation, zero leverage. He has no understanding of that. He can't grasp that in his transactional brain.
The stupider he gets about it and the crazier he gets about it, the more he's going to. And he's already being isolated. Like, we are in a completely different world we are with Europe now than we were 5 weeks ago.
Right.
So it is moving. It's going to take time. Like, all these things take time. Mm-hmm. And, Ukraine's defending themselves, and what did they say? They have about a year's worth of armament, and
that's not including the stuff they're getting from Europe going forward, right?
Ongoing, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of outs for Ukraine and Europe.
I agree. Which is exactly why Trump and Vance are upset. They have they recognize, and that's what this is. You talk about the bully pulpit. This is a great example of the bully pulpit. That's what he's trying to do, is bully them into doing this by making them look ungrateful or making them the villain in this. And it's not going to work. He looks like an asshole. And like maggots are going to think this because they've always thought this, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is the rest of the world and the rest of the country. And the vast majority of us are like, no, you don't get to redefine the dictation of what it means to be a dictatorship and, the standards of what it means to be a dictatorship. All of a sudden, just because you prefer Putin. And nobody bought that. He even said yesterday, did I say that? Whatever, like he was kind of being cute. He stole Elon Musk's line about am I being vilified in the press? Like they're all doing this kind of idiotic sarcasm as a defense mechanism.
Russia's position is that Zelenskyy needs to have a new election. Right. And the whole purpose of Russia wanting to do that is because they think they can use Brexit style stuff in Ukraine like they're doing here and try to get somebody that's their puppet in Zelenskyy's spot. And then Trump's idea of saying, oh, you just need to make peace. Too many people are dying. That's his super simplistic campaign message effectively, where he's basically trying to say Zelenskyy's, whoever this Russian opponent of Zelenskyy is possibly going to be when possibly they have this election, that's who I'm supporting because you just got to make peace, right? He's just jumping ahead he's already solved the problem.
Well, that's okay. And that speaks to, that kind of nicely wraps up in the last couple of minutes we have together. And I want to thank you for sticking around. And we do, sometimes we'll do politics at the top and then we'll get to the AI stuff. And today we just inverted it because of the number of stuff. No, it's not at all. The issue that again, they don't have leverage in this. This is what's upsetting them, and they're not going to get that leverage anytime soon, any more than Putin has it. So you can almost hear their words of them being yelled at by Putin in this circumstance, and them reacting as if. I got to say, in these, there is no situation where this turns out the way Vance and Trump are talking right now. Like, that's why they did this. They, again, if they had leverage, they wouldn't have to yell in this situation. If they knew how to solve this, they wouldn't have this problem. And Trump promised this would be solved in a day. That's what this is based on. He has no idea how to deal with this. He's like, I would have made one phone call and fixed this, and I'm the only guy, and all this. And this was one of his big sales pitches. And the reality is, Ukraine not only can fight to the end of the year using the stuff that they've gotten from the U.S. largely and from Europe, is that they can continue, because Russia's on its heels, to fight for another 2 years if they had to in this circumstance. And Russia's only response will be to do a horrific bombing of, the only way, which is way over the fucking line. And basically, I'm sure that Putin has told Trump this, that we're going to have no choice but to just effectively, nuke Kyiv or whatever. They won't, but that's what they've sold him, right? That's why he's panicking about this, right? That's why, it's so to me,
like everything else, Trump is trying to create leverage by getting crazy, by creating volatility.
Right.
It's every single thing they do is trying to hurry the choice. And all you have to do
is wait him out.
These are big problems, but the way you beat Trump is you wait him out.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
You just say no longer. Say no longer than his patience will go, and he'll do one. He'll do one of two things. He will back off because he has no recourse, or he will try some ridiculously over the top thing, which will show him to be the coward, fraud, or the tool of Putin that he is, and that in and of itself works in your favor, as bad as it could possibly be. Certainly a better choice in this circumstance than acquiescing to what he says. Certainly a better choice than going, okay, we'll do your ceasefire thing because I'm afraid of the alternative. The alternative, as bad as he could bring it up, which is like, I guess, 100% cutting them off from aid, which wouldn't last. Again, the Senate has already okayed this. This has already gone out the door. It's already spent for another year. And Europe will back him up. That in and of itself, like, you're right. And Democrats to some degree can sit back and watch him go, I'm going to solve this. I can fix this shit. I'm fixing everything. Right. I'm fixing everything. They have a responsibility to like stand back and go, okay, fix it. Because the second you go past your own manufactured, mythical deadline of 100 days, everybody's going to start calling for your head, and it ain't going to be us. It's going to be your own people, and they're already doing it. The Epstein file bullshit released yesterday, that obviously he has not solved the Ukraine-Russia war in 24 hours. He doesn't know what to say. They both just yelled at him. There wasn't even remember that whole thing?
And
one phone call.
He's escalated himself. He escalated himself.
Right. Yes.
Like, nobody did anything. All
yes.
Zelenskyy said is, I don't agree with the terms. That's all he said.
Yes.
And
right.
Trump is freaking out. So if you give Trump 4 more weeks,
oh my God,
what's he going to be like then?
Yeah, right.
After.
He's going to be Nixon. He's going to be like yelling about Jews at fucking paintings in the White House. Like he's going to be, Trump does not drink, but he's effectively at this point drunk on his own fear. He's drunk on his own failure. He knows that was all bullshit. He knows it. And what he's starting to sweat on is, everybody said, like, what we said about the tariffs is absolutely true. Even the threat of the tariffs was caused prices to go up. Now he's saying they're definitely going to go into place. Well, that affected.
But they haven't yet.
No, they haven't. And the stock market has, but the stock market reacted as if he's really going to do it.
Exactly.
Right.
So he didn't get the tax, so the so-called tax that he said he was going to get.
He get the upside. He got all downside. Right.
He only got downside from what he did.
Because that's what happens when a coward picks a fight. They get their ass kicked. Right? It's like he's tied his own hands behind his back and said, I'm going to kick your butt. And it's just weird. Like, and again, the reason Vance is yelling in that one is because Trump is is weak in this circumstance, and Vance came to his rescue. That's clearly what happened. Like, Trump wasn't able to have leverage over Zelenskyy, so he thought, maybe I'll step in and I'll, push this point, and the two of us can gang up on him in the White House. And Zelenskyy, I mean, the dude's got people trying to fucking kill him all over the place. Russia wants him dead. Like, fuck off. Like, he's not afraid in the kind of way these guys are afraid. Neither one of them has experienced anything even remotely close to this, even with Trump's little, like, ear nick business. Like, he can't even grasp the level of threat that Zelensky's under all the time. So his mindset's completely different, right? And totally. It's so great.
And Vance feels man because he just at a NATO summit, like, said really stupid stuff, and he thinks like he's super tough, and Europe is like, yeah, fuck you. Whatever, get out of here.
Yeah.
It was meaningless. Like, so what? You're going to scold them in their own home soil?
Oh, yeah.
Like, get out of here.
Literally, Zelenskyy was like, Putin broke the ceasefire. We had a ceasefire since 2014. Like, he invaded. And Vance is like, how dare you come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media? Okay. Listen, all right, let me show you that line real quick, because that's a part of this. Hold on, check this shit out real quick, and then I'll let you go, because you've stayed over, and I appreciate it. Listen.
Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's our job. We litigated it on our own terms.
We're supposed to talk shit after you left the room because we're a couple of fucking pussies. Oh my God. What a whiny. Oh God. What a twerp. And look at Zelensky's like, dude, he's like arms crossed.
I know. He's like, whatever.
And he's like, you're trying to embarrass us in front of the people that are that we brought in here to embarrass you. That's the problem Vance has, is that they set this up. They brought in Russian media. They brought in all these folks, and they were like, how dare you, question our bullshit in front of the media, when that's what we came in here to basically steamroll you, and you're not buying it. And his whole point was like, tell me what kind of diplomacy you're talking about, because we did that before with them, and they invaded our country and killed our people. What are you talking about? What does that mean? And his fallback.
Zelensky's position on a world stage is just like, you want us to make a deal, but they already broke the deal. Yeah. And he's sitting next to the guy that breaks every fucking deal he has.
Yeah. Look at Trump himself.
Why would he make a deal?
Look at Trump's fucking face in this too, and he's doing his little Illuminati hand vagina that he always does, and somehow when Obama does it, it means he's part of some globalist conspiracy. But when Trump means it, he's just self-soothing with his fingertips like Dr. Evil. But hold on. I don't know what. Let me see what the rest of what Vance says here.
Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's just?
Yes, but after.
Like, it's just so lame. It's just like, and again, why don't you talk about Russia? Russia's using North Korean fucking troops. Right. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Russia's stopped with the conscripts and moved to the North Koreans.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they've been throwing fucking Chechens at the fucking front lines with wooden guns, like fake plywood rifles. Like, Jesus Christ, these guys die with
None of this stuff is funny. What's funny is Trump thinking that he has anything in this situation.
Oh,
he just doesn't.
Well, and I think that. He's going to wake up to that fact. Now, there are a couple of things, like, do you think maggots are going to recognize that Zelenskyy is pantsing Trump and Vance in front of the whole world right now the way the rest of us do? Of course not. They're going to buy it. But you know what area they are getting really antsy about? The fucking Epstein files. There have been, like, Jesse Waters the night before had Pam Bondi on, and Pam Bondi's like, oh my God, the stuff you're going to see, it made me sick, and I can't believe it, and you're going to show this, and it's on my desk right now, and once we release it, after we're done redacting it, you're going to be so shocked, and you're also going to be very happy about. Okay, and then she released a bunch of, like, bad photo stats of fucking old files that have already been public. And when they called her on it, what did she say? She said, the FBI has all these files that they haven't turned over to me. Well, okay, first of all, asshole.
You mean Trump's FBI?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Kash Patel like went, hey. Right. But not only that, oh my God. So not only this, she falls back to this, the FBI didn't. Okay, first of all, you weren't even talking about those files. You were talking about the shit you had on your desk. You lied about the stuff that you were going to release that you had access to. You don't get to go, I didn't even know this other shit existed or I couldn't have it. You weren't even talking about that. You were talking about, right now we've got to redact some of the things on the files that we have, but when you see them, you're going to be happy. That means she's talking about shit she's actually seen. She's not talking about the fucking legal files from the New York case with Epstein. A lot of that also is public. Wait till the fucking the accusations against Trump and his sexually assaulting a 13-year-old and all that kind of stuff, which is all part of the Ghislaine file, is all part of the Epstein file. You think they're going to release that? You think that's what this is about? And maggots all over the place are starting to get real fucking antsy and quite curious. And even like Peanut Butter Dickhead, that Patrick Bet David dude and all that stuff, the way they're talking about this stuff, the worm has turned. Even Glenn Beck, there's a couple of these people where they're like, it's coming. And then right now they're like, what's up? And you're like, well, They were friends for a quarter fucking century, because
beyond that problem, the idea that Trump's information might be in there, they've set up a situation where it doesn't matter what's in there. I don't know that MAGA is going to accept anything that's in there. Because they've made up a whole bunch of stuff in between that they think are in there. So when it comes out, and if that stuff's not there, they're going to think it's still a conspiracy. So there's like no way to get out of the conspiracy problem. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm getting at? Like, it doesn't matter how much they release, because they could release like, a truckload of papers and give it to whoever, and people would be like, well, you're missing the second truck.
Yes. Oh, well, and they obviously are, because again, Trump, like every time they turn around and there is some stuff that finds its way to the surface publicly through other sources, you're like, oh, okay. Remember when he said he was no longer friends with Zelenskyy after this certain date? There are call logs now where he was calling him almost every day for years after that. The dude has never lived more than a 9-minute cab ride from him. Why the fuck, if you're going to move to Florida or any other state in this fucking country, and why wouldn't you move closer to your own golf course? Why wouldn't you move? Why wouldn't you just have a fucking house in Texas or Montana or some shit? Why is it always that you need to live less than 9 minutes away from this asshole? Why is it? Like, that's weird. This is a huge fucking country with 340 million people in it, and that guy's never more than a 9-minute cab ride from you. What in the world? And you shared planes. Where's Trump's flight logs? How about that? How about we start demanding those? Are we to assume that Trump never flew down? Maybe he didn't go straight to Little St. James Island. He went to the adjacent island and took a boat or a fucking helicopter across like other people did, because they knew they were in on it and they knew people were being taped, and they were close enough to him where he's like, yeah, don't fly in because we track everybody because we use it as leverage, right? Like, and then they're like, okay, and then they don't realize they're being tracked as well. Just under the premise that they haven't been tracked. I mean, that's what this sounds like. Like, this sounds like, you want to talk about, like, two guys being blackmailed, yelling at Zelenskyy. Trump, by the way, released a statement. He goes, we had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I've determined that President Zelenskyy is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America and its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he's ready for peace. So that's basically, he's right. Okay.
That's where he was before he got there.
Right, exactly. And what are you going to do? Cut him off? Like that's not going to happen. It's just stupid.
If he does, it's going to be
huge news. Yeah,
go after him all over the place.
Right.
I saw a. Somebody asked, "Who cares?" I can't remember. I can't find the person's name. Sorry. They said, "Who cares what MAGA thinks?" What we're trying to talk about here is how to use MAGA to take down Trump.
Yes,
because they're
once
like
they go
chomping at the bit.
That's right. Yeah. There's enough of a substructure. This is like with the Musk thing. Musk has enough money so he can put a distance between fuck around and find out. Okay, right. Think of that in terms of MAGA support for Trump is the cushion between fuck around and find out.
Right. Exactly.
And the tighter that gets, and it's already happening, like I said, because of the Zelenskyy stuff, because of the, he promised he would have peace in 24 hours. That's bullshit. They all know it. They all heard it. We all heard it. And then the Epstein files. And there's also going to be this thing where inflation hasn't come down. Egg prices have gone up. We just lost a kid to fucking measles in Texas for the first time in a decade. Right. And it was an unvaccinated fucking kid that these people in Texas are like, yeah, rah, rah, rah. We don't need any of this stuff. Nobody that has a vaccine for measles is dying of fucking measles, period. And the idea that you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, it doesn't sound very pro-life to me. So once that crowd of MAGA narrows, either because they turn on him, which is the big ask, or they just back off. And I think you're going to see a lot more people like...
It's one of the two.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to just fade into the background because they're embarrassed by what he's doing and they don't believe it. So they'll get disillusioned about politics in general and start bitching about all sides and all that stuff. I don't give a fuck, because ultimately that means they're not going to vote. They're just going to cut loose. And so he can't count on their support to bail him out in the next election cycle or whatever. So that fuck around, find out window gets very small. It doesn't change with us. We're not in that cushion. As a matter of fact, we're doing everything we can to bring those two sides together so people recognize that the find out is really close, so that they stop fucking around, right? That was what you're like, you're going to hurt people if you do this. The veterans, you're going to hurt Medicaid, we're going to hurt. Like, we're trying to show the tariffs. This is the find out part. We don't want you to find out. Stop fucking around, because you're going to find out. And they're like, nope, we're determined to do this. We don't have any leverage against him, just like him and Zelenskyy. But MAGA does. And MAGA's leverage will start popping as this shit does not work. And it's our job to draw attention to the lie that keeps MAGA in place. The lie that keeps them solidly there.
They're like a focus group to figure out which lines work against him, because whatever rises to the top in their world, in theory, would be the most potent attacks against Trump.
Yeah.
Rhetorically.
I'm going to let you go.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
They're the ones shooting them. So shooting at them.
Yeah. And I clearly they tried to group pressure him. He even called in fucking the dude from Marjorie Taylor Greene's main squeeze to yell at him, right? Like, about why he isn't wearing a suit in the Oval Office. I don't know. Same reason Jim Jordan doesn't wear a fucking jacket. A, who cares? B, he's like, I'll wear a costume when the war is over. Right now I'm in a war. So,
right.
Yeah, I'll dress up like you. Yeah. So, you're awesome. All right, I'll let you go.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. And
see you later.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'll let you go. Hold on one second. Let me switch out to here. And 3, 2, 1. Off you go. All right. Thanks so much. Excellent. And let me see. I think I have a chat window. Do I? Yeah, I should have a chat room in here. There we go. Oh, hi. There you are. It's starting to come in. Hey, look at that. So yeah, thanks, Rob, for that. I mean, while this is happening, because it's relatively live, do you guys mind if I jump in and look at some of this stuff? The afternoon show I would normally do in these circumstances, I will be, let me put in preview mode so I can look over here and then go to this to see if the proper page is in there. There we go. And then, let's see, trying to fix something real quick. And turn this off right here. There we go. And yeah, that'll work. Okay. I'm gonna play some of the this is the let me see if I, you know what, I'm gonna find, rather than
now not in a very good position.
All right, let me see if I can find the YouTube of the entire meeting so we can just look at it. If you guys cool hanging around, because I have there you go.
And now I'm talking with my friend.
All right, so this is yeah, let me bring this in 1 second. Good Lord, just a jackass. Okay, oh, sorry, I have to create a page for just me and this. There we go, hold on. Brink. There we go. Okay. And then let me fix my page because it looks like shit and I don't like it. Meow. There we go. Whoops. What happened? What are you doing? Why Safari? Get back up here, you silly. Thank you. Oh, I see, because I was ranking the wrong page. I'm such a silly. What happened there? What are you doing? Get back over here. There we go. We'll slide this down. And hold on. There we go. Here you go. If I can drag this down a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. I see, because it has 2 pages, not 1, and that's just silliness. Get out of here. Okay. That goes, and then I'll drag this out. Okay, now we can go to this page, and it will work in the publish. So here's Trump just, okay, balding and miserable, bags under his eyes, sweating this fucking meeting, clearly. Look, we might be able to write this entire thing off that he didn't get a nap. But here we go.
Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't know.
Also, by the way, that sounds like Zelenskyy, but it's not. It's a reporter.
Align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not
Didn't stop you from shitting on Zelenskyy while he's there.
aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world.
Yeah, he's a globalist, is what you mean. Yeah, sure.
And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world.
I am the word. I am the POTUS. I am the one who gave javelins when Obama gave sheets and stuff.
I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done.
Okay, that's very telling too. And why is this light so goddamn bright? I just gotta say, this is just shouldn't be. It's a little better. Good Lord. He just met with Starmer and he just met with Macron, so he's all sensitive about the fact that his brand new friends might not like him.
You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough.
You just wait. I'm so tough. I can pick up peanuts with my nunt.
But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions.
There was no separation. The President of the United States' words and our support for Ukraine was in sync, you dumbass. I guess what maybe the point he's trying to make is that if we really thought that Vladimir Putin was this evil, why didn't we nuke Russia? I guess would be the theory, maybe.
America a good country? Is America engaging in diplomacy?
Oh, did I say Zelenskyy instead of Epstein or something? At one point we were talking about files. Yes, the Epstein files. I see. Sorry. My confusion earlier. I think we were overlapping in what we were talking about in terms of the MAGA is going to be very upset. Maybe I wasn't clear. MAGA, the distance between fuck around and find out that MAGA is dealing, is going to tighten, has to do with their reaction to the Epstein files coming out and their disappointment with those files not being, more new stuff, period. But that they weren't more forthcoming, or that Pam Bondi is basically bamboozling them, and that it's all bullshit, and that this is just them covering for Trump, which is eventually, I guess, you're going to have to come to that recognition, because they're buddies. They were friends for a quarter century.
President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had
that. By the way, this eats right into Trump's myth that there were no wars during my time, even though this fighting continued in the Donbass area. And of course, Afghanistan was ongoing as well. And don't get me started on Syria and all this stuff. There were no wars in the world. Everything was at peace, and we had beautiful peace, and everything was shiny, and everybody got a Cadillac and a TV set and a big turkey for their oven.
Conversations with him. A lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation. And we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What?
Look at Trump. Has no answer for this other than, oh, fuck. He's just going to rebut this and go, you got to be more grateful or random. But he has absolutely no idea about the details of what they're talking about. And the deal that he's talking about was signed during Trump's term. Putin signed a deal the last time Trump was president with Ukraine, with Zelenskyy, and then he broke it. Period. Not only did he break it then, he obviously broke it in 2022 when he attacked again.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the story.
I've watched and seen the stories. I saw a Newsmax thing, and I saw one of Tucker Carlson's podcasts about what a Nazi you were, even though you're Jewish.
And I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems? Bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to?
I don't think he attacked the administration. What the fuck's wrong with you? I think it sounds like both of them know they don't have any leverage in this situation.
Prevent the destruction of your country.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
Look, I don't actually have any feelings other than lack of Diet Coke and I have to poop. So
We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about
it. From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the
it.
cards right now. With us, you start having
I'm not playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards. You're playing cards.
you're playing cards. You don't have the cards right now. And I'm using the card analogy. And I said cards, so we're talking cards right now. If you say ball, I'm going to get very confused.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's back to you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America.
Look, if I have to kiss his ass every day, you have to kiss his ass every day. That's what Vance is saying. Like, everybody who's there is like, look, you don't understand. We're going through this kind of like mini NBC reality show version of the North Korean cabinet every fucking morning with this asshole. And everybody has, like, we choke down these fucking words trying to kiss his ass and make him seem competent. And the only one who can do it is Lutnick, but he won't stop laughing. So I don't know if he thinks it's funny or if he actually believes it.
And the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President.
You need something?
I can't find my house keys.
Oh, all right.
I was in here this morning.
I didn't see any in here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no worries.
We are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been
only
alone.
In this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military...
Jesus Christ. You see how he just put his hands on him, too? Like, you realize if this was two guys in a bar, Zelenskyy would be dusting the floor with this buffoon. It's just sad. He's like trying to touch him to get him to stop talking. He thinks this is gonna, that level of aggression physically will, like, be enough. Oi.
equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say
It's hard to do business like this. Sorry, dude. It's not like Gaza. It's not a real estate deal, you weirdo.
thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I agree. Yes, it is good.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long.
That's why I kept this going. Like, I'm in control of this. Yeah.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen.
I gotta say, kudos to Zelenskyy for not letting Trump just bulldoze with his language, because it kills there is a tactic at play here. I would like to point out, that Zelenskyy is denying Trump what is effectively like a stinger soundbite. Because they're kind of talking over it. They may be able to make noise of this. I'm sure fucking Judge Janine in the 5 or Gutfeld or fucking Jesse Waters will talk. How dare he talk over the president, blah, 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 while they're having this heated quote unquote discussion. But Zelensky's very smart in just going, look, this is what we're trying. I'm trying to talk to him and trying to keep this conversation going so that Trump can't just look like he's like a boss and he's laying down the law. Because the more he does this, it doesn't look like Zelensky's disrespectful. It looks like he's in a desperate situation and he's speaking frankly. And Trump is just, used to having his way. And when he doesn't get it, he sounds like a dick.
Please, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire.
That's how he said it. Yeah. I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire.
I want to go, and I wanted this. Look. If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you'd take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get
I want a ceasefire. Of course you do, because you told everybody you could get one with one phone call, and you haven't. That's why Trump wants a ceasefire. He doesn't give a rat fuck about what happens to Ukraine. He just made promises made, promises kept. He just told everybody on the fucking campaign trail that he could do it with one phone call, and it's been well past 24 hours.
Ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me. That wasn't with me. That was.
Yeah, it was.
A guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
That was with Obama. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama.
The Senate did. Trump couldn't stop them.
Gave you sheets.
He didn't give him. Zelenskyy wasn't president then. When Obama gave quote unquote sheets, Yanukovych was still the president, and that's why we didn't give them lethal weapons, because they would have used them on their own people.
In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins.
That's the statement. That should be the headline. Thanks, buddy.
You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards, but without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President.
It's going to be a tough deal to make.
It's going to be a tough deal to make. I mean, I know I said I could solve it with one phone call and it'd be super easy, because we have stupid leaders and all I have to do, and I already know what I'm going to say, and they'll both do it, because it never would have happened if I was in there in the first place. And so it should end immediately just because I'm fucking orange magic. It's good. But on 17th thought, it's going to be a tough deal to make. I know that's not what I said on the campaign trail.
Because the attitudes have to change.
Yes. These kids have an attitude problem with their whole, like, they got to get over the fact that Trump sent rape squads into Bucha,
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then?
Look at Zelenskyy. I guess she's asking him.
I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia...
Oh, my God. What do you say? Like, oh, my God, this is fucking embarrassing. This is the worst part of the whole thing so far. They're both... It's not like he's across the room. They're sitting next to each other. Good Lord.
It's the ceasefire.
What if anything?
What if anything? Good, excellent. Yeah, that's leadership. What if anything? Well, I guess you're in the what if anything right now.
A bomb drops on your head right now.
What if a bomb drops on your head right now? That's leadership. There you go. What an asshat.
Fire.
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden, because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama.
Well, if they respect you, then they'd stop fighting, right? What are you talking about? What if a bomb dropped on your head right now? I don't know. What if you dropped a big boom boom in your diaper right now? Look at fucking Zelenskyy. Like, this motherfucker? I'm supposed to fucking... This guy's... God damn.
Respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam.
Why was it a phony Hunter Biden scam? What did Hunter Biden have to do with Russia?
Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff, it was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it.
Oh, sorry. Boo fuckity who? Wait a minute. Putin had to go through that? Why did he have to go through it? What are you talking about? He instigated it. It's not like he was up on fucking charges.
Ended up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it.
Wow. Just fucking, yeah, like, this is a level of suck up we haven't seen since they met in person.
At a Hunter Biden's bathroom.
What? Wait a minute. What? Hold on.
All that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom.
What? Wait a minute. The fucking Russia has nothing to do with Hunter Biden. That was your chase against him. Do you think he's just forgotten Joe's first name? Bathroom? What the fuck?
It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff.
Sorry. You basically, Trump is trying to make him and Putin the victims of their collusion or whatever. Like, again. So the idea is that Ukraine has to suffer because America owes Vladimir Putin an apology because we're aware of his soft power attempts to manipulate the electorate, and we don't want to put up with it.
All I can say is this.
All I can say is this. Bathroom. What? All right.
Might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened.
Let's just assume they broke them. Yeah. Never mind. It was a deal that was signed under your presidency, and he didn't stop shooting during the 2019-2020. Just saying. So.
But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position.
Okay, so is this so Trump can sign off in his on like the rare earth stuff? Are they just still arguing about this stuff? And basically, look, there's no reason for Zelenskyy to sign over these things to the United States and let us have access to them if they end up losing their country in the process. Literally, if they can just get invaded. There have to be security guarantees, and Russia won't allow it. And so that's what this pressure is all about. This is like Putin said no. And Trump thinks he only has leverage with Zelenskyy because he doesn't have any leverage to make Putin actually. He can't have a tough guy bullshit moment with Putin ever. He can't even in this meeting, talk reasonably about this. He's incapable.
But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing.
Okay. Sorry. As thankful as Putin is, what does he do? Trim his nails so it doesn't scratch your ass?
All right. I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh?
No, I don't think so. I would like to, as a matter of fact, I think we need GoPros during this entire process, asshole.
This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks.
Yeah, look at this. fucking what and Zelenskyy I feel so bad for him just having to look at these two dummies and go, wait, I'm considered on an equal footing with Bone Spurs and hillbilly effigy over here. You shitting me? And it seems to boil down to Trump wants a ceasefire and these minerals with no security guarantees. What part of art of the deal is that? Give up all your leverage, bow to whatever I say, and give everything to the other side. And what do I get out of the deal? You get, I don't know, you're out in the cold, you're fucked. That seems to be the other half of this. It's so stupid. And of course, Vance looks like he's got a small turd being held under his nose, right? Just kind of, we make good TV. But Trump is miserable, and the reason is because he cannot muscle Putin at all. And I gotta say, MAGA is going to have the same reaction to this, how dare you, to Zelenskyy, and and I'll tell you how the reasoning behind it is fucking people are being murdered by Trump's buddy. That's why, and it's also why he might seem ungrateful to Trump in this situation, because he knows Trump is trying to give leverage that Putin has not earned. He doesn't have the second best military in the world. China doesn't even have that. And both of them are going to be at each other's throats the minute Putin falls or is, or is seen as weak enough for them to make a move. They've already redrafted the fucking the map. So, where they're renaming the areas that they lost in the Sino-Russian War back to their Chinese names. That's a shot across the bow. Putin is in an incredibly weak situation right now. And it is stunning to me that, there's got to be some friggin' reason behind all this, if I may, chat room, where we always think about the leverage, the PP tape and all that kind of stuff. Whatever it is, it's got to be worse. Because again, the PP tape, as we all know, allegedly, is that he had these hookers he was with in Russia urinate on the bed that Obama slept in the same hotel room because he was a petulant dick about it. And he was like, he just thought it would insult Obama by peeing on a bed he wasn't in or wouldn't sleep in again after the fact. It's super weird. It's got to be worse. It's got to be Epstein level shit. Nobody, especially in the era of deep fakes, you can almost get rid of anything. There's got to be, whatever it is, it's frigging worse. It is way worse. Oh, I see. That's why this slips around. That's funny. Boink. 1 second. There we go. Ta-da. Okay. Sorry, this was trying to get you in their chat room while looking at this stuff. Yeah, all that shitty talk. CatFam says all the shitty talks about Biden. Joe Biden never said he'd fix the war in a day. Well, that is what Trump is up against. More than even, I guess, his embarrassment of this is he's being shamed publicly by this circumstance. Because it's just it's pathetic. Hold on. We've got, this is Fox News. Hold on. Responding to the, this business right here. Hold on, let me publish this. Go back to live mode. There we go. This is Karl Rove, I guess, talking about this thing.
And if it had not been, if cameras had not been running, but the only winner out of today is Vladimir Putin. This is a mistake to have it broadcast. It was a mistake for Zelenskyy to get his dander up, and it was a mistake for the president and the vice president to be so public in their comments. This was not the moment that should have been televised. They should have had those conversations out of camera sight, and I'm confident that then they would have been able to find a way to move forward. But it's really hard when you've had the kind of coverage of this moment that we've now had.
Yeah, I don't know that Zelenskyy getting his dander up was part of the issue here. Yeah, it's super fucking weird about this. Like, you should kowtow to us. You should be more thankful. They are to Biden and to the people in Congress. There's our dear friend Boston Bryan. We just witnessed today's Adolf Hitler and Hermann Goring attempt their own 1940 French armistice embarrassment at Compiègne. Only problem is they forgot Zelenskyy isn't losing and Ukraine won't be defeated. Exactly. We love you, Boston Bryan. Oh God. This whole embarrassment, like where Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend is like, why don't you wear a suit? And like, meanwhile, this dickhead's showing up wearing a hat inside at the Oval Office and a T-shirt that says tech support as this cartoonish display. And by the way, an overcoat, not even a suit coat, which is even weirder. Let's see. Lindsey Graham is trashing Zelenskyy and praising Trump and Vance. Really?
Met with Zelenskyy this morning. I urged him to stay on message, be grateful, be thankful. We'll talk about details of security guarantees later. Keep it upbeat, keep it positive. It was absolute, utter disaster. The question for me is he redeemable in the eyes of Americans? Most Americans witnessing what they saw today would not want Zelenskyy to be their business partner, including me.
Yeah, they would.
And I've been to Ukraine 9 times since the war started. I met with him this morning. President Trump I talked to last night, he was upbeat about the deal. I've never been more proud of President Trump for showing the American people and the world you don't trifle with this man. He was very positive. He was very upbeat. He wanted to get a ceasefire. He wants to end the war.
Well, then, yeah, but I don't care how upbeat you are about letting Bucha happen again. This is doofy. By the way, he's trying to salvage this because he's largely one of the people that has been most pro-Ukraine in this, and Trump and Vance both have basically ostracized him. So he's trying to be the peacemaker in this to try and, build a PowerPoint for himself. It's just like super stupid. Yeah, that's mostly that's the full meeting. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the top of this part. Okay, let's go there. Hold on.
And now I'm talking with my.
Okay, yeah. So that's where they started from. So we don't have the load in past C-SPAN. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, this is, I think, going to be the response across a lot of fronts. Clearly, and this whole him wagging a finger at Zelenskyy after his country was attacked is just fucking lame. And again, Americans largely stand with Ukraine, and even the maggots are like, well, they just should be nicer about it or some bullshit. Whereas Trump is obviously indebted to Vladimir Putin on some level that's incomprehensibly grotesque. And it's hard not to align it with the fact that he was friends with Zelenskyy for 25 years. That is the essence of character that he shows in who he picks as friends. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to be on, tell you what, since we did this morning, and I have a show tonight at Flappers, 9:30 p.m. at Flappers, ladies and gentlemen, with special guests, not related, Jan Karam and Brian Karam. They're going to do, 5 minutes, pop up and do something, which will be nice. And Charlene's opening, which will be very exciting. I don't know if we have a feature beyond that, but we'll find out. And then, and it's going to be a good show. I have no idea what I'm going to say, but that's the whole point of these shows. It's going to be all fresh off the dome. And it's hard not to prep. It's really hard not to prep on purpose to make sure that I don't, cheat my way into a piece. And I see. This is why this goes to the wrong camera. There we go. So I will see you guys that are coming tonight, and some of the Patreons, we might grab a bite to eat beforehand. And I look forward to seeing you guys. As for our other Patreons spread out over the country, I will be live streaming it, and I'm very excited about that fact. And anyways, enjoy the show. But that said, this afternoon, because of the timing of the show tonight, I'm going to just do a 1 hour show tonight instead of 2, since I've kind of added on an hour this morning, if that's okay with everybody. And we'll cover, I have no doubt, the blowback from this stuff that just happened this morning. So take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And let's see if I gotta play this kind of thing, and I'll play this and turn this on. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that's loud. All right. And I think, yeah, I've got an ending screen. Okay, I'll see you guys this afternoon.